Hello, hello. When you come in, please, hey Ruby, please say hello and tell me where you're coming in from, and we'll get started here in just a moment. Hey Margaret, got a couple of our Project Stay Home members jumping in here, so please say hello. Hey Sandy, there's another one. So we got Ruby, Margaret, Sandy, all members of Project Stay Home. Go figure. Coming in here. I want to talk to you today about reality. And I'll put reality in quote marks because, if you've been following me for any amount of time, you'll know that I'm constantly talking to you about the lies that, hey, Melanie, hey, Bobby, excuse me. Oh, COVID-19. No, just kidding. I've been talking to you about the lies that you've been conditioned with. And the lies are just too many to count, quite frankly. And I'm not going to get into all of those. We've discussed some of those in the past. We'll continue to discuss those going forward. But nonetheless, here's one of the lies that you've been conditioned to believe. You've been conditioned to believe that what you can see, touch, taste, feel, smell is real. It's not real. And there are many reasons why it's not real. Now you might say, well, James, why does this matter? All right, this is just some great philosophy. Why does it matter? Well, it matters because the way you define reality is the way you experience your world and your life. Does that make sense to you? Let me repeat that because it's really important. The way you define reality is the way you experience your world and your life. And so here's the reality, is that every single thing in the third dimension is subjective. Now, we've been told that things are there are certain things that are objective, and those are outside of us. And there are certain things that are subjective, and those are inside of us. I'm going to say that duality is a false duality. It's not real. Everything in this dimension is subjective, in any dimension for that matter. Now, what am I talking about? Well, let's take a simple example. This water bottle, we would tend to say that this is an objective reality, right? You can see it, you can touch it, but here's the bottom line. You never touch it. You really don't touch it. That's a lie too, because you never ever touch this water bottle, and you never ever touch anything for that matter. What's really happening when you understand quantum physics is that this is nothing than a bunch of electrons in a state of vibration, and your body is a bunch of electrons in a state of vibration. And so when you think you are, thanks for sharing, Anand, how you doing, buddy? When you think you are touching something, you never ever touch it. What's happening is the electrons in your hand and the electrons in this water bottle, both vibrating, are banging up against each other, and you think it's solid and you're feeling the water bottle, but you're not. But that's not really what I'm talking about here. But that's true. Now, we say this is objective because I can touch it even though you don't touch it. We just explained that. It's not objective. It appears to be objective to your subjective awareness. Am I blowing your mind? Well, again, as I say every single time, because you're one of my followers, I assume that you like to push the envelope. I assume you want to talk about more than just help me build a funnel. I assume that you want to talk about more than just how do I make some money right now. There's nothing wrong with those things, but hey, Gemma, that doesn't bring happiness and fulfillment. None of that does. And it doesn't help you wake up. and really see the world clearly. The Buddha stated that the major cause of suffering is because we don't see the world clearly, exactly as it is. We don't see the world clearly. We see it through our own perception, and our perception is tainted by the programming of socialized mind. The programming that you've been conditioned with, hey Robert, the program you've been conditioned with since the time you came out of your mother's womb, if not earlier. So let me come back and say, we think this is objective. It's not objective, it's subjective. Well, James, I can grab that water bottle, so can you. I understand it's a water bottle, so do you. Correct. But how about my dog Flo down here, who sleeps next to my desk when I'm working? Can she understand this as a water bottle? She can't. Her, quote, objective reality is subjective to her state of awareness. Good, Mary Beth. That's my job, babe. Come join us at Project Stay Home. We got several members here. Members weigh in. If you think Mary Beth should join us at Project Stay Home, as well as Gemma and Robert, just tell them why here in the chat. But nonetheless, Flo's objective, quote, reality is subjective to her state of awareness. I could tell her all day long it's a water bottle, and she's not going to understand it. Now, her objective reality, in quotes, and there is no objective reality. Get this. This is a game changer when you do. Her objective reality is based on her state of awareness, and her awareness determines her ability to comprehend and have a perception. So, if you know anything about dogs, they have a completely different perception of the world than we do. They see, a lot more things that we don't see outside of this very narrow band called visible light. You see, the only thing we see is this very narrow band of visible light. We can't see the other dimensions, and there are multitudes of them. Just simply to clip off a few that you're aware of, there's the ultraviolet light spectrum that we can't see. There's microwaves that we can't see, and yet microwaves are bombarding this room right now, and they're bombarding wherever you are. It doesn't matter where you are, whether you're outside, inside, you're bombarded with microwaves right now. And don't get me started on that one. But nonetheless, we can't see microwaves, and yet they're here. We can't see radio waves, and yet they're here. There's all kinds of dimensionalities in this world, and we can't perceive them. We operate within a very narrow band called visible light, and we say that's reality. That's not reality. Flo, back to Flo. I don't want to wake her up. Sometimes she wakes up when I use her name. She has a totally different perception of the world. She sees the world, experiences her, quote, objective reality through her subjective ability, awareness, and experience. Is this making sense to you? And guess what? So do you and so do I. There's no objective reality. It's all subjective. Well, again, why does this matter, James? It's nice. Okay, nice to talk about, nice to think about. What matter does it make during COVID crazy? And during life period? Well, it matters everything, because the fact is, until you wake up now, and until you start to see clearly, you're going to be a slave. A lot of people want to say that they're free. They're not free. You're not free. You're a slave. And you're being utilized by a program. Straight up. And that program is something that's been told to someone who told you, and someone told them, and someone told them. And it goes all the way back to God knows when. Karen Wallace went. Hey, sweetheart, I hope you're doing well. And so, before you say, oh, I'm free, well, pay attention to what's going on in the world right now and recognize how much freedom you don't have. Freedom of speech. Nope. Freedom to assemble. Nope. Freedom to worship. Nope. Okay? And it goes on. All constitutional freedoms. They're not there. They're not there. I mean, if you think they're there, think again. And so you're a slave. We're all a slave. We're a slave to a program and a conditioning that we've been conditioned in since the time we came out of mother's womb, and I would suggest even earlier, but we're not going to go there today. And the only way to start to be free now is to step back and to perceive and to see things clearly. You know, one of my heroes is Leonardo da Vinci. I have, you know, on top of the Zohar back there, which is a set of very sacred books from the Kabbalistic tradition, I have his a knockoff copy of the one book he penned in his own hand called the Codex Leicester. And it's all about alchemy. And one of the things that Leonardo da Vinci says, there's three kinds of people. And our members, our community of Project Stay Home, we were exploring this just last Thursday night. We meet every Thursday night at 5. You know, there's three kinds of people according to Da Vinci. And see if this doesn't ring true for you. There are those who see when they're shown, and there are those who don't see, even if they're shown. You know, I mean, Morpheus said some people are so caught up in the system that they don't want to be free. Hey, Patrick. They don't want to be free. Hey, Nancy. They are so afraid and so indoctrinated that they're afraid. They're in total fear to let go now of how you have been conditioned and how you put your world model together. And I get it. I get it. Life forced this one upon me in 2009, 2010, 11, 12. My entire world was shattered. Every single thing that I thought was true, every single thing that I believed in, every single thing I thought that my country stood for, every single thing that I thought about my friends, every single thing about everything pretty much, hey David, was totally in question and totally shattered, and it was frightening. You know, it's what they call in Buddhism standing on groundless ground. Standing on groundless ground is a frightening thing because you don't know, you've got no home, you've got no foundation, and yet it's very empowering. You know, how many of you like me, hey London, there's another Project Stay Home member, none of you Project Stay Home people have weighed in as to why those who are not members should come play with us yet. And encourage you to weigh in here and tell them real quickly what you're getting out of it and why they should join if you agree with that. Staying on groundless ground is frightening. And yet it's quite empowering. Thanks, David. Nice haircut, he says. You know, haircuts are hard to come by these days. So our stylist came over this last week, and I said, just cut it all off. And then she cut it all off, and I didn't really like it. So this morning, my lovely wife, Bersabeh, just cut it the rest of the way off. It's called low maintenance, but nonetheless, it's frightening, but it's quite empowering because when you're on groundless ground, when you start from ground zero, then you're at base camp, you're at rock bottom, and you've got a firm foundation from which to build. And so the things that I'm sharing with you during these turbulent times in which we live, there we go. It's fun and super dynamica. Is that Spanglish, Sandy? Place to be, Project Stay Home. Thank you. It's super empowering because you have a firm foundation from which to build, and you can build anew. Now, so many people are not going to build anew as we come out on the back end of this thing, and we're not going to ever back out of it. You know, I've shared with you before, it's not going back. It's just not going back. Okay, if you think it's going back, look back to September 11th. Look back to the AIDS epidemic. You know, every single time there's a big fear wave, everything changes, and less and less and less and less of our I should say, more of our liberties are taken away. And so if you see things clearly, then you'll come out of this and you won't attempt to recreate the old. You'll create the new. And the new has to be new. You know, it's really interesting. I had a interaction on Instagram today with a millennial. And I'm not millennial bashing here, guys, by the way. If you're a millennial, I believe, and I've gone on record many times saying that the millennials potentially are some of the greatest leaders this world has ever seen. And yet they're going to have to clean up, grow up, and wake up. They're going to have, just like all of us, we got to clean up, grow up, wake up. And it has to happen in that order. And that's why you're here. You got to clean up, grow up, wake up. And you're not going to wake up until you clean up, and you're not going to grow up until you clean up. So clean up is job number one. And yet I had this interaction with a millennial on Instagram. Margaret says, Project Stay Home is a wonderful community of helpful people. James and Bersabeh really care. Thank you, Margaret. It means a lot. We love having you. I had this interaction, and he reached out to me. I hadn't talked to him in a long, long time, and he has quite a big following in the millennial market. That's his market. And he said, what are you up to? And I said, well, I've written my new book, The Business of Redemption, and I'm doing redemptive coaching, and I'm talking to people about what it takes to redeem their life, redeem their business, take their power back. And I said, how about you? And he came back with a typical millennial response. With all respect, you know, oh, I'm really working to change the world. I'm going to change the game, make a difference, and, you know, change the culture. And I just recently interviewed blank and blank, and I'm not going to say the names, but I know blank and blank. I've shared the stage with the first blank, and the second blank, everyone knows both blank and blank. And I went back to him and I said, with all due respect, blank and blank, no, I said, how are you changing the game? I said, because blank and blank are playing the same game we've played for 100 years, hundreds of years. No response. And see, here's the bottom line. If you want to change the world, if you want to make a difference, big buzzwords, right? I want to make an impact. I want to make a difference in the world. If you want to make a difference in the world, then you have to do something different. You can't just polish up the same old thing. If you want to be a game changer, you have to change the game entirely. You can't just massage the rules of the same old game. Does that make sense to you? So many people, and I hope you're doing it, Anand, so many people are saying they want to be a game changer, and yet they're playing the same old game. You know, and this is what a lot of the younger generation, you know, oh, we're going to make an impact. We're going to be game changers. We're going to make a difference in the world. And yet, what are they doing? They're just talking about, you know, maybe there's a different way, better way to make money. That's not a new game. Maybe there's a better way to get my own billionaire status faster. Maybe there's a better way to get my own plane. I mean, seriously? That's the same old game. That's not a new game. That's not a game changer. A game changer doesn't continue to play basketball and just change the rules a little bit and make it more efficient, possibly. A game changer bounces out of basketball into a whole new game that never existed before. Or maybe hasn't existed for a long, long time, if ever. I hope this makes sense to you. So the whole point of today, hey, London, the whole point of today is for you to recognize that all reality is subjective. All of it. There is no objective reality. It's only objective from your subjective view. Hey, Krista, another one of our community members. Hey, it's only, quote, objective from your subjective ability to understand. When you open your awareness and understanding and you wake up more, you're going to see things completely different. Everything will shift. The perception of time will shift. The perception of reality will shift. The perception of what's valuable will shift. Everything will shift as you continually evolve, clean up, grow up, wake up. And so look, here's what I'm going to say just to finish this off. For a limited time, and this isn't going to happen forever, for a limited time, I've been sharing with you during the COVID craziness, which I love to call it because it is, this crazy COVID craziness. Bersabeh and I have continually asked ourselves, how do we serve at greater, broader, deeper levels? And we've created, Project Stay Home, which I've talked to you about many times, and many of the members are here, and they're telling you should join. If you, I don't care where you live, if you're in India or England, it doesn't matter. We have people who go to bed and set their alarm and get up at 1 a.m. to be there on Thursday nights, 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And we have members who are all over the world who choose to watch the replay because we record them all. So there's no excuse. If you won't pony up $13.97 a month to invest in yourself during this COVID craziness, then, God bless you. Keep watching Netflix and HBO. And I say that with all love and respect. But if you won't make that kind of investment, then you just don't get it. And you're not probably, with all love, a great member of this community, because this community is committed to literally transforming their life. But what I'm here to talk to you more so about today is that I've shared with you several times that that from Mumbai, watching at 1:45 a.m. I have not seen you there, Anand. So lots of love to you too. That's Project Stay Home, which I've talked about many times. The other thing we did after COVID crazy was, we were offering free coaching, introductory coaching sessions on jamesarthurray.com, jamesarthurray.com. There's a link right above my head. And we've been doing that for a long, long time, but it wasn't with me. I had coaches who took those introductory sessions, and they gave great coaching, great advice, great value for free, and then, offered the opportunity to potentially work with me, if it was right, in Bersabeh in a variety of ways. I mean, Bersabeh is doing coaching with individuals right now, and she's a heck of a coach. And if you don't know anything about Bersabeh, this is a young lady who escaped from a war-torn Iran as a young child across a barren desert in the dead of night at the threat of being killed. And that was how she began her life. And it went on from there. So, both of us have been through serious tsunamis. And that qualifies us to help you get through yours. So Bersabeh coaches, I coach, we cut our coaching fees in half. But we're still not the least expensive coaches on the planet, nor should we be, given our experience and what we have to share with you. And so, we also have online coaching, which is much more accessible, where we have group coaching, where you still get access to us, and it's just in a group setting. We have online opportunities. And so here's the bottom line. If you're serious about seeing the world through new eyes, then and you've never worked with us before, because this is not available for anyone who's working with us currently. if you're working with us currently, you know who we are, and if you don't know and you're not convinced that we're your right coach, you're not gonna be convinced with a free session. So if you're a current client, this is not for you. If you register for a free coaching session, please don't, because I'm really busy. We're super busy, and if we see you come in and you're a current client, with all love and respect, we'll come out and go, hey, we love you, we respect you, we're honored to work with you. And we're not going to put you on the calendar, okay? Because if you don't know that Bersabeh and James are right for you, then you're not going to know with a free session, okay? Now, if you've not worked with us directly and you're interested and you're really committed, and here's the caveat: if you're really committed, because I took all my coaches off and I'm doing all of them, and that's not going to last forever. That has not ever been. You don't coach with me for free. You make an investment to coach with me, because I have, I've invested, more hours and more millions learning what I know than you can even fathom. And so I'm doing them now, though. After COVID crazy came out, we took the coaches off and we said, bring them right to me. So if you're new and you're not working with us currently, and you're truly committed to doing the work and to having a coach. We all need a coach. I've had coaches my entire life. Even good coaches need a coach. I have one right now, because you can't take a far enough view from your own nonsense to see your own nonsense. You can't see what you are through the lens of what you are. And I hope that makes sense to you. If you're new and if you're really serious, and if you're not, please don't waste your time and mine. But if you're serious, go to jamesarthurray.com. It's right above my head, and you'll see free coaching, and you put in your name and your email, and you'll go right to my calendar. Right to my calendar. It's not going to be that way forever, but it is right now, because we want to support you. We want to give you the things that you need to shift your view and to make the best of this situation that life has given you. Because here's the bottom line at the end of the day. If you don't come out of this situation better, it's not because you didn't have the time. It's because you didn't have the discipline. And that's just straight up frank. And I'm always going to be straight up with you. My job as a great coach is not to make you feel better, it's to make you be better. Because what I know is, as you become better, you're automatically going to feel better. And I'm sure that makes sense to you. So look, all reality is subjective. And when you change your subjectivity, in other words, when you clean up, grow up, and wake up more fully, your objective reality will change as well. And that's the objective, that's the opportunity. I want to thank you for a couple of moments of your time and day. I appreciate you following us on social media, and we look forward to either having you as a member of Project Stay Home, and I look forward to working with you directly as a coach if I'm the right coach for you, and you should know, particularly after we have a free intro session. So God bless you. Remember this: you are not a physical body. That's another lie you've been conditioned into. You are infinite intelligence with infinite potential and infinite possibility, having a single pointed experience called jamesarthurray in my case, and fill in your name in your case. You're having a single pointed experience in infinite intelligence, possibility, and potentiality. And when you start to clean up, grow up, and wake up more, then your subjectivity changes, your objective world changes, and your entire life changes, and you no longer live in fear. Lots of love to you. God bless. Have a masterful day.